It's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com, and we're here in Austin at South by Southwest. Finally, after 3 days on the startup bus, we are here. We made it, safe and sound. It's not necessarily the nicest weather here. It's in the 40s. I think it's actually nicer in Cleveland than it is here in Austin. However, it's raining here, but all the buspreneurs have made it, and they hit their deadline last night at midnight. They had to have all their code in. It was code locked, and they were sweating it out. So let me bring you up to date as to where we were over the past couple days. As you know, yesterday we arrived in San Antonio, 10 buses from the West Coast, from San Francisco, from Boston, from New York, from Miami, from Cincinnati, and from Louisiana. We all arrived together in San Antonio at a place called Rackspace, where they had a huge hero's welcome for 300 people as we got off the bus one by one. All of the Rackspace employees, all dressed in their T-shirts, came out and cheered for us like we were conquering heroes. And it was a real emotional lift for everybody at the startup bus. So we got there, and it was an unbelievable scene. It was about 10 a.m. in the morning. They had a stage built. There was a DJ. There was a full-on rave going. And a lot of us hadn't even had breakfast yet. And who was there? But they had a celebrity panel of judges to hear the pitches. So they had Guy Kawasaki, who was one of the original evangelists for Apple, was there as the keynote. And Robert Scoville, one of the real biggest tech journalists, was there to sort of lead a celebrity panel of judges. And so a number of the buspreneurs were given the opportunity to get up on stage in front of all 300 of their peers and actually give their pitch for one of the final times. Now, they've been working on it for 3 days straight, and they got up in front of this panel, and this was brutal, folks. I mean, this was not a very pleasant scene. They ripped into these people. They didn't give them a chance to even get their pitch out, and they started criticizing them for not hitting what their business model was, who they were going after, and how they were going to make money. Those are the three things that the buspreneurs were. It was drilled into us from day one. So this panel, I'm telling you, they were brutal. And then it was like the sun came out, and we got lucky. And one of our buspreneurs from the Cincinnati bus, Nick Tittman, from that product called Sipley app. If you remember, that's the app that remembers and ranks and locates your favorite beverage, be it coffee, tea, beer, or wine. Nick got up there, and he nailed his pitch. He did such a great job. He shut down that panel. They listened to him, and he did it by giving a short pitch. He only gave about 30 seconds, and then he shut up, and that allowed the panelists to really let it sink in, and even Robert Scoville was really impressed. And he made the best impression, I think, of almost anyone there. So we're so proud of Nick, and he was representing the Cincinnati startup bus and got some good feedback. Unfortunately, no one else from the bus was able to give a pitch that day up on stage. And I'll tell you the truth, many of them didn't really even want to. They were so busy finishing up because they had a deadline of midnight last night to get all their code done, to finish up their product, to finish up their marketing, to get their video completed and get it all done by midnight last night. So then after a few hours of this in San Antonio, which, by the way, this company, Rackspace, took over an old Dillard store. It's hilarious. There's a dilapidated Dillard store, and they took over the entire shopping mall. So it's a pretty bizarre scene, and it's huge. And from there, we actually got lucky again, and we got invited by the Louisiana bus to go and ride with them into Austin, Texas, about an hour or so away. And we talked with Terry Jones from the Regional Innovation Organization, and he's doing some great things down there in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge. In fact, he was the ones that hosted us when we ran through Baton Rouge a couple nights ago. So we got a chance to talk to Terry, and you'll see that video is already uploaded on CoolCleveland.com. And he is partnering with some folks from Cleveland with Jumpstart, and they are trying to redevelop their economy in Louisiana and some of the other parts of the region and throughout the country, and they're doing it through tech innovation and entrepreneurship. So that's what this startup bus was all about, and we talked with Terry on the bus. We got to meet some of those great Louisiana buspreneurs, and I'll tell you what was interesting. It's the only bus that I saw where people were still wearing their suits on the bus. very impressive, and they're representing Louisiana very well, I have to say that. Everyone else here is in T-shirts and whatever else you can find, and it's just kind of a crazy scene. So we get to Austin, Texas yesterday, and it's miserable. It's cold here, it's raining here, everything is sold out, you can't get a hotel for miles. I found something way outside of town, and everybody is drained now. We've been here for 3 days, okay? It's not a happy scene. The place that they found for us, and remember, everything is sold out here, and what's cool about this kind of critical mass, when you get everybody in one place at one time for the South by Southwest Festival in a town the size of Austin, is that all of a sudden spaces turn into other places because they're getting repurposed for just this week or next week. So it's pretty cool. You can see they've got another sort of welcoming party going out here as well for folks that are coming in, which is cool. So what they've done is they've turned a lumber mill into a big tech warehouse. They set up tables and folding chairs, and they've got power. And I can't believe it, there's over 200 of these buspreneurs who are lined up, one shoulder to shoulder to shoulder to elbow, all running off the same power, all running off of 2 Wi-Fi connections, which is not really recommended. And they are hammering to try to get their businesses finished. They have a midnight deadline. They've got to get that video in. They have to get their code written. They have to get their marketing plan done. So they were working their butts off last night until midnight, and a few of them started to peel away as they finished up their tasks. And so we ended up going out with some of them to a Mexican restaurant last night here in Austin, which was great, but many of them went right up to the deadline until we all got the text at midnight. It said, code locked. Zip your file, send it to us, you're done. And now they're going to be judged to see who gets into the semifinals and who goes into the finals then tomorrow to see who's going to get funded by these venture capitalists and get their businesses up and off the ground. So it was just a great scene there. And we're going to try to get back there this afternoon for our second video today around 4 o'clock live and see if we can shoot something from the lumber mill and show you what that scene was like. So here at South by Southwest, they've got the interactive festival starting. The music part is starting up. The film part is starting up. And what's interesting is you can see how marketing is happening all over the place here. You can see behind me that this bulletin board, it's just crazy. I mean, it starts here, and they've extended it out as far as it can go. I mean, it's pretty intense. And what I'm learning is, if you get here too soon and you put your poster up, you end up being the backdrop for somebody that got here a little later and is more timely. And that's a lesson that a lot of us buspreneurs are learning, is how to do your marketing, your social marketing, if you will, when it needs to be done, and spend the money very efficiently to get it done when it needs to be done and how it needs to be done. So here's the story from here on out. We're going to see who makes it into the semifinal round, and hopefully we're going to have some of our folks representing from the Cincinnati bus. We talked to the folks from some of the different businesses that got started, and a lot of them have a lot of confidence. Some of them don't think they're going to make it in because they didn't hit all their milestones. Others are pretty confident that they have a great business plan and they've got their business working. They got it up online. They were supposed to get 100 people to sign up and register for their business, and those who did that are feeling pretty confident and strong that they are going to be able to move forward into the semifinal round. But we have a lot of great competition here, and folks from all over the United States, all these buses traveling from all over. So it's questionable as to who's going to get there. We should know more at 4 o'clock, so we'll be going live again at 4 o'clock on coolcleveland.com, and follow up with us then. And then tomorrow, we're heading back to Cleveland. However, we're going to follow up with our folks here and see who actually ends up on top and who doesn't. And I'll tell you, either way, folks have had such a great experience here. They've met people, they've made connections, and one of the big stories is that people use this opportunity to make a change in their life. They've made a change in their business. Some of them have come to the realization that what they're doing is not satisfying or fulfilling in their life, and they realize that it's not all about the money, and they realize that they can go out and start their own business that tries to change the world in some small way. And I think they have been inspired with not only a skill set to do that, but also a little inspiration that they can do something themselves that means something to their own heart and soul, to their own passion. And they're going to take that with them regardless of where they go. So we'll be following up with those folks a little later today and then tomorrow as well. And so for now, we're here at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, and we'll keep you informed. We'll see you at 4 o'clock today and noon and 4 tomorrow. It's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com.